Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and with the summer TV season officially started, I figured now would be a good time for me to do my video talking about all the shows that are coming out in the summer, what I'm going to be watching, what I think of the new shows coming out, all that great stuff. And I'm sorry this video is in fact a week late. I meant to do this last week, but hey, that's the price you pay when you get really behind on reviews. But either way, guys, I'm just going to say right now, because of how last year's video turned out, based on, how the length and things like that, this will most likely be a very long video because there are a lot of things to get into. Now, I will say the summer does not look like it's nearly as packed as last year's. There's stuff coming out, but there's not like a large amount of stuff. Most of the stuff coming out is like really on Netflix and things like that. So we're just going to get right into it. And before we do get into stuff that has yet to premiere, there's already a large amount of stuff that already has premiered. First one, of course, being American Gods. And you guys obviously have seen my review of the first two episodes. And so far, I'm very impressed by the show. I think it's really different. I think it's definitely very weird. I'm not entirely sure what's going on throughout the show, but I think overall it's definitely very well put together. Bryan Fuller's imagery is just astounding. He does an incredible job with the show overall. I love what he has, gotten out of it. I think he just overall has done a very, very good job. I really like we've gotten out of the show so far. So definitely have really enjoyed what we've gotten there. So American Gods, if you guys have not checked it out yet, I don't want to say too much about it. You guys can watch my review of the first two episodes. Again, it's a very weird show, but it did premiere on Sunday, April 30th. You can catch it every night on Stars at 9 until like July. So that will be on for a lot of the summer. Definitely look forward to that, because I think it's a very, very well done show so far. But the other one to talk about definitely is on Friday, May 5th. Already it's come out. I've yet to review it though, and that of course is the second season of Sense8, which you guys know Sense8 was my biggest surprise of 2015. I went to that show not really knowing what to expect because of it being the Wachowskis and them not really doing anything that great since The Matrix, and I would disagree. I think Sense8 is the best thing they have done since then. I think the show is it's very well put together. There's not really a lot of things like it on TV. You got all kinds of different characters and all kinds of different hidden themes within the show. The way the show kind of tries to cater to everyone does a really great job with, and it's a show that unfortunately I don't think enough people have really gotten to see. And when it comes down to it, if there's a show that people want to watch, I always am recommending Sense8 to them, because it's just a very well done show. It requires a lot out of you and requires you to think and definitely pay attention to the screen, but it's such a investing show, and it's a show that I think does a great job at really capturing your attention, that it really shouldn't be too hard. There's only 12 episodes to watch from the first season, so if you haven't watched Sense8, but if you're excited for the second season, you probably already watched it because it did come out last Friday. Definitely look forward to my review of the premiere, probably tonight. I can't promise you, don't quote me on that, but most likely I will get my review of the first episode, season 2, out tonight, and definitely look forward to that. And then also on Netflix already, we have a film called, a show of the second season of The Last Kingdom. Now, The Last Kingdom, the first season aired on BBC America, but because of Doctor Who and Class and things like that, unfortunately, it's not on BBC America. But don't worry, because it actually is on Netflix. The entire second season is on there, so you can, if you love The Last Kingdom and you want to watch the second season, you can, because it already has premiered on Netflix on May 5th. If you guys definitely want to check it out, definitely do that. And yeah, that's it. But without further ado, guys, now let's get right into it, starting off with all of the shows coming out this summer. So already, guys, there are two really big shows to talk about that have already come out this Friday, May 12th. The first one being a show called And with an E.
I make up stories all the time.
I could never do that.
I don't think imagination's my strong suit.
Really? I don't know what I'd do without mine. You're ridiculous. Diana, shall we swear to be best friends forever and ever? I solemnly swear to be faithful to my friend for as long as the sun and moon shall endure.
You have such a way with words.
And just like The Last Kingdom, guys, if you have seen And, this actually technically has already premiered a month ago in I want to say Canada. It's already premiered. So if you are in Canada, you already have access to this show. But I'm looking forward to this show for a while now. I've heard that Netflix is going to do an Anne of Green Gables adaptation for a long time, and this is a very ambitious project because not only is it an Anne of Green Gables adaptation, but it's significantly darker than some of the other ones that we've gotten, and I like that. I like that this one is taking itself seriously, but it doesn't look like ultra dark, like, oh, this is ultra dark and it's not for kids. No, this looks like something I think kids should absolutely watch, especially for the time period that it's in. Some people have said the show is too much like forcing the message down your throat, and I wouldn't say that. I mean, at least from the trailer, it seems like it's very natural, especially for that time period when the show takes place. It makes a lot of sense. You know, the whole point of the show is showing that Anne, you know, she can do anything that a guy can do, and sure, we've seen that message before, but Anne Green Gables is a story that has lived on for generations, and I'm glad to see that they are bringing it to light here. I think the actress who plays Anne looks really great, and it's also written, surprisingly, by the same person who wrote Breaking Bad, which is just really weird. But yeah, Maura Walley-Beckett, she is very famous for writing a lot of Breaking Bad episodes, and she is writing the show. Overall, I'm definitely looking forward to the show overall. I don't really know exactly what we're going to get out of the show, but from the trailer, I definitely am at least intrigued, and I do hope in the end it does pay off.
Dear Dick, this is about obsession. This is about me missing you, even though I've never met you, Dick.
Is it weird that this is not at all what I expected? Okay, not long, please.
Join the party?
My husband has a residency.
He's one of Dick's new fellows.
Dick's new fellow.
Dick, right?
That's me.
Dear Dick, how did we not know each other before now?
Now, this show, on the other hand, I'm definitely not as familiar with. I know there was obviously a pilot for this a couple months ago, and it did not get a very warm response, to say the least. Most people said, this, at least from what I'm hearing, that this show, it's very unsubtle, it's way too sexual, and that's really what it does seem like from the trailer. The show in general just doesn't really intrigue me. This woman lusting after this man when she's in a relationship that she's not happy with, and she's, you know, just kind of wants to be with this guy and who tells her he's really not interested in her, but she doesn't take no for an answer. This, to me, seems like kind of like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend if the entire show was just about her being a crazy ex-girlfriend, because that's what that show initially looked like, that she was just lusting over this guy. The difference is here, she doesn't even know this dude. She's just randomly infatuated by him, and she just wants to go after him, and in general, this really doesn't look that great. Look, I like Kathryn Hahn. I think she's very talented, but this role, I've seen this role 1,000 times. I mean, just this woman that just makes all these terrible decisions and is just not likable, and I'm tired of these kind of shows. I really am. I feel like there are just way too many of them, and it's just the kind of show that we don't really need. And I guess it's good because it's like one last show to watch. I may check it out because trailers can sometimes be misleading. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, Amazon has not really hooked me in that much. Like, I haven't really found a show on Amazon where I want to watch it constantly. The only one would really be Man in the High Castle. Only reason I got behind on that show is because there were just other things on. Other than that, though, Amazon can't really seem to find that one comedy. I don't think this is going to be it. I think there's another show later into Amazon that could very well benefit them, but it's definitely not this show. In general, the show really did not do a lot to intrigue me. I don't really have much else to say about the show, and in general, I'm just not really looking forward to it. But if you guys are looking forward to both Aim with a Knee and I Love Dick, they do both premiere on Friday, May 12th. Also coming out that day is the season premiere of Master of None. I started watching that show, and again, I fell off on it, but I might try to catch up throughout the summer because I did hear that actually is very well done, and I definitely am interested in maybe checking it out, like I said, throughout the summer. So that also did come out. If you guys are looking forward to all of those, they do come out Friday, May 12th. And then the next day to go for is Sunday, May 14th. There's the Miss USA on Fox, if you guys care about that. I don't really care, but that is on Sunday, May 14th, if you guys do care about that. But the other one to really talk about, there's a new show on Acorn TV called Decline and Fall. I don't really know what that is. There's something called Your Million on National Geographic. Again, I don't really know what any of these things are. Just like the last video, you're not really going to find a lot of things here that I do know about. I'm really only going to talk in length about the things that I do know about. But the next show to really talk about, this like the next big show, is Wednesday, May 17th at 9:30 is a new show on ABC called Downward Dog.
Ann and I have a history with miscommunication.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
You want to maybe move a little bit?
Okay, I'll just squeeze on through then.
For instance, I was never the biggest fan of Nan having a boyfriend. Jason's never been somebody who I really deeply respected, but things are moving in a positive direction.
Don't those give him gas?
I thought you liked being able to blame your farts on him.
I have never done that.
So this is a show that I am very conflicted with when thinking about it. There are things here that I think could work very well, i.e. the concept of a talking dog. And also Allison Tolman, I'm a big fan of her from season 1 of Fargo. I really did love her character. I think she was just a lot of fun to watch. And she is definitely funny as well. Like, she definitely is a funny actress, and I think she can do a really great job here. The thing I'm worried about is that dog's voice definitely does seem like it is going to get kind of degrading after a while. And how long is this concept really going to work? I mean, the dog narrating the show, don't really know if that exactly was needed, and I don't really know if it's actually going to work. It definitely does seem like it's not as mean-spirited as I think it could have been. It definitely seems like it's more of a heartwarming show, like these two really do rely on each other, and I think that could definitely be a good relationship overall. But again, I'm just very conflicted with how the show is really going to be. It reminds me of the show Dog with a Blog, and that was a show that when I was younger I liked. Now I've come to realize that it's kind of shitty. But in general, I don't really know what to think of this show. I think it could be good. I think there are other ways where it could definitely fall off, but it is a show that I might check out if I have nothing else on. But if you guys are interested in Downward Dog, it does premiere Wednesday, actually this Wednesday, May 17th at 9:30. Then it's going to move to its regular time slot, which is Tuesday at 8, May 23rd. Definitely look forward to it. Again, I don't really have much to say about it, but if you are looking forward to it, it does come out then. So the next day we really talk about is Friday, May 19th, and there's actually surprisingly a lot coming out on that day. First of all, we have the 3rd season of 12 Monkeys on Sci-Fi, but it's a very unconventional way of doing it. Instead of them putting them all out on, Fridays at 8, what they're actually going to do is they're going to air them all that weekend with 4 episodes on Friday, 3 on Saturday, and then 3 on Saturday, and then 3 on Sunday, which is just a very interesting way of doing it. I don't know if it's because people just like to binge things and they don't like having to wait. But this could potentially maybe be a new way of doing it. I've definitely seen TV networks do this before, but never quite the way that it's been done this season. So if you guys are looking forward to 12 Monkeys, it does come out next season, but just know that the entire season is coming out next weekend. It's not like you're going to have to wait for it. So you'll basically get to binge watch it that entire week if you want to. I'm guessing that's why they're doing that. But the other big one coming out that I am really looking forward to is the new season of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix. You guys know I love the first 2 seasons. I think the second season was even better than the first one. The first season was great, but the second season was even better. It was more character-driven. It really developed more into Kimmy's psyche, and I thought overall it was just really interesting, and I've definitely been looking forward to this 3rd season ever since, and I don't really know what this 3rd season is going to get into. I haven't watched the trailer or anything, but I definitely am looking forward to this season overall. There are a slew of guest stars, as usual, that are going to be on this season, and I'm definitely interested in getting into what really is going to happen in this season, all the kind of topics that we're going to deal with. Definitely, I think it's going to be very interesting. So if you guys do like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, it does come out Friday, May 19th, if you guys are looking forward to that. And then Saturday, May 20th, there is a documentary on Hulu about James Bond called Becoming Bond, if you guys are looking forward to that. But the big one that day is the new HBO film, The Wizard of Lies.
There's a little black spot on the sun too.
How was Wall Street, Papa?
Wall Street is good.
Dad says things are bad at Wall Street.
You're an 8-year-old and you shouldn't be asking me questions like that. I don't feel like talking about
Dad?
Wall Street. I'm here having dinner with my family.
Bertie, what's wrong with you?
It's a fraud. Basically just a big Ponzi scheme.
What's a Ponzi scheme?
Now, this isn't the first adaptation for Bernie Madoff that we've had. In fact, just last year, there was a mini-series on ABC of the same, actually called Madoff, and I'm guessing it wasn't too good because we now have this movie, and let me just say, I don't know what that mini-series was, but I'm sure this is a hell of a lot better because this really does look great, and there are many reasons why I'm really looking forward to this, this movie. Not just because of the fact that I think Bernie Madoff is a very interesting figure and things like that. I think definitely he is very interesting in that way, especially with what he did. It definitely seems like they're going to make it as compelling as possible, but also because of the fact that, in general, for Robert De Niro especially, Robert De Niro, I think, has been struggling for a while to really get a film where people can take him seriously, and this really looks like this could possibly bring him back into the limelight. Michelle Pfeiffer looks great here as well. It really looks like it is going to handle this topic from all angles, and I'm definitely really looking forward to this film overall. Robert De Niro looks like he's absolutely going to kill it in this role. Like I said, I do think this very much could be his comeback role. Last year we had an amazing HBO film All the Way, and I really hope this year is the same with The Wizard of Lies. I definitely am really looking forward to this overall. It definitely looks extremely well done. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. But if you guys do want to see The Wizard of Lies, it does come out next Saturday, May 20th at 8 o'clock. Definitely look forward to that. And you will definitely be able to expect a review for that coming that Sunday, most likely. But the big one on May 21st is the return of a show that I am currently binging, and that, of course, is the return of Twin Peaks on Showtime. This is a show that people have been wanting to come back for a very long time. I've heard it's one of those shows that was very much ahead of its time and that many people loved for that reason and things like that. And I think it's a very important show, definitely. It's really shedding some light on, it really introduced to a lot of, weird type things, and I've recently started binging the show. It's great, and honestly, it really does hold up very well. It's very weird, and it has a lot of different tones to it, but the characters are really well realized. It's a very compelling story. It has that really weird David Lynch feel to it, and in general, I definitely am really looking forward to this. The fact that they have 18 episodes really to show how confident they are in this show. They're also not releasing any episodes prior, which is interesting, but it's going to be 2 hours every Sunday. This is one that I am definitely looking forward to watching. I can't wait to finish up the show. I'm currently, I believe, on Season 1, Episode 5, so I most likely will finish it by May 21st. I really am loving the show overall. I think it's very well done, and yeah, so if you guys are interested in Twin Peaks, it does come out May 21st at 9 o'clock. I think it's going to be probably the big event of that night. If not that, then the Billboard Music Awards and ABC, there's that as well, but Twin Peaks does come out May 21st, and I'm definitely really looking forward to that. Then May 22nd on ABC, we have the return of The Bachelorette, which I couldn't care less about, but it has a huge following, and a lot of people love it, so if you're looking forward to Bachelorette, it is come back May 22nd, as well as some movie on Lifetime called Sweet Francis. Now, I was going to show you the trailer for this movie, but it actually is a legit film. It's one of those films that was meant to be, it was shown in the UK, in theaters, but now it is, completely bypassing, and it kind of sucks. You got a good cast here, Michelle Williams, Ruth Wilson, Margot Robbie, so that only leads me to believe that the fact it's on Lifetime and that it's not in theaters, that they don't have a lot of confidence in this film, and I hope that's not the case, because I do think this could be something potentially really good, but this kind of seems like that's not the case. But again, if you are interested in Sweet Francis, it does, however you pronounce it, it does come out May 22nd at 9 o'clock on Lifetime. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. And then May 23rd, we have the return of Casual on Hulu, which I love Casual last year. I think it was a great season, definitely. It's such a great character-driven show, and now that the characters are all divided, I'm very interested in seeing where Season 3 is going to be. It seems like they've kind of been very hush-hush about it. I haven't really seen any footage or anything like that. But if you guys are interested, I'm definitely looking forward to Casual Season 3. I really hope it does hold up. A lot of times when they divide characters in a show, it doesn't work as well. But I hope this is one of those shows where it actually does work. I'm worried it's not going to, but the way things end in Season 2, I think definitely they could possibly make it work, and I really hope it does here. And then May 24th, we have something that I am definitely looking forward to, but I'm a little bit skeptical about, and that is the movie adaptation. Not a live adaptation, but it is a movie remake of Dirty Dancing.
One of the most beloved dance movies of all time becomes the next great television event. Watch me now! From the choreographer of Hamilton, with a star-studded cast, comes the musical for a new era.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Dirty Dancing, Wednesday, May 24th on ABC.
Now, this is the latest in the remake musical extravaganza that we're currently getting. There's just been such a big boom and such an such an interest, in remaking musicals like this. And I know Dirty Dancing isn't a musical, but it does fall into that category because it does have a lot of songs, and it is a dancical, so it is very accessible to do. However, this remake, I don't really know, honestly, if this was really necessary. I am a fan of Dirty Dancing. I really am. In fact, when I first watched Dirty Dancing, if you guys remember when I did my classic movie review, I didn't really know if I was going to like it. I went into it very skeptical, not really knowing what to think, just because a lot of those 80s dance craze films I'm not a fan of. I think they're really cheesy, and I think they're really dated. Dirty Dancing, however, is one I think still holds up very well today. There's a reason why so many people rewatch that film, because it is still very rewatchable. Remaking it, on the other hand, I don't really know if this is necessary. I don't really think this is a film that needed to be remade. I think this is a film that could have easily stood on its own. Abigail Breslin seems like a really weird choice for Baby, but we'll have to see how she is. I haven't really thought of her as much as a dancer, but hey, she could definitely surprise me. You got some good action in there. Deborah Messing, Sarah Hyland, Katie Seagal. No one I would really say theater-esque, like no one I could really say is a dancer. I mean, I know Katie Seagal is familiar with that kind of stuff, as well as Deborah Messing, but we'll have to see how this one really turns out. I don't know, I'm kind of like I was with the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Let's Do Time Warp again, and I really hope this does not turn out like that, because one, like that, it's not live. It's not live, it is in fact just a movie, and it makes sense because it wasn't a Broadway show. There's really no reason to actually do it live. And two, I think this is probably the most unnecessary out of all the ones we've had. I just don't really know why they're remaking this, honestly. But it could really surprise me. I still will check it out because I've reviewed every single one of these musical adaptations we've gotten. So it really would not make sense to just completely skip this one. Obviously, I am going to check it out. But I just don't really have that much to say. And I'm not really that enthusiastic about it. Just because I just don't know if this really needed to be remade. To me, this just seems like one of the most random choices I've seen in a while, and I just don't really think we need a remake of this. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe there's something will happen where it really does surprise me, but I definitely don't really know how this is going to go. If you guys are interested in Dirty Dancing, it does come out Wednesday, May 24th at 8 o'clock on ABC. Again, this is ABC's first time doing this, and I hope it does work out well for them. They have a history with musicals that, for the most part, are good. Like, I'm a huge fan of the 90s Annie. A lot of people don't like it, but I think it's actually the best adaptation of Annie there's been in terms of movies. In my opinion, I think it's the best there's been because it is the most true to the original musical. I actually do like The Music Man that Disney has done, but this is not like a Wonderful World of Disney thing, so I don't really know how this is going to go. Again, it could really go either way, but if you guys are interested, it does come out Wednesday, May 24th, and definitely look forward to that. But next, guys, we go to May 25th, where we have a bunch of game shows actually coming out. In fact, a lot of this summer is filled with the return of game shows, which I guess makes a lot of sense because people who, just want simple TV, they can't really keep track with a lot of shows, just can watch these shows for fun, and they don't really have to worry about a lot of stress and things like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I've watched some of them. They're actually really well done, like Match Game, Alec Baldwin. That shit's actually really good, surprisingly. I didn't think it would be good, but it's actually a lot of fun, and I find myself really getting into it. So these shows definitely do have an audience, and I think they are definitely smart to put them on in the summer because, there's not a lot on. Some people, who don't like basic, who like just like basic cable shows and things like that. This is just something fun to watch if there's really nothing else on TV. So I think it definitely did make sense to do that. But Love Connection at 8 o'clock is coming back on Fox, so that's on 8 o'clock, and then Beat Shazam at 9, which is essentially what it sounds like. As you guys know, Shazam can track a song very fast, and it's actually a really cool idea for people to actually guess the song before Shazam does, and I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that's worked. We've had game shows like this before, but never something quite in the vein of this, and I think it's cool that they're definitely trying to do something like this. So Beat Shazam, I'm definitely interested in seeing how this really does turn out. I don't know really what it's going to be, but Beat Shazam on Fox, I definitely do want to check out both of these at some point. I probably will watch them, and we'll have to see really how that is, but Friday, May 26th, we have the return of the final season of Bloodline on Netflix, and I actually really did enjoy last season. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought it was well done. But I definitely do agree the show does need to wrap up, because I will definitely say last season was not on par with the first season. The first season was a lot better, in my opinion. There was just a lot more of a story, and the story they told I didn't think was boring, but it's not a story that can go more than one more season. So I think it definitely does make sense to end the show. A lot of people didn't like the second season. It was very polarizing when it came out, and I think it does make sense to end it on this last season. I know that Ben Mendelsohn is no longer part of the main cast, and even that, obviously, people are going to get worried about, but hopefully it does wrap up to a very satisfying conclusion. There are so many shows ending this year, and I hope this is definitely one of the better ones. So far, The Leftovers has proven to use that to their advantage the best, but overall, I definitely am looking forward to the return of Bloodline. So Friday, May 26th, if you guys are looking forward to Bloodline, I know there are a lot of people who fell off last season, and if you did, I can completely understand it, but it is come back May 26th, and I am overall definitely looking forward to that. There are a few movies on Netflix, but I'm not going to count those just because there's so many of them, and I just don't really want to talk about those. But then Monday, May 29th, we have a new show on ABC, which could potentially be one of the more interesting shows of the season, and that being a show called Still Starcrossed.
Verona is burning.
We must have peace, no matter the cost.
By royal decree, I, Aeschylus, royal prince, do herefore order the marriage of Rosalind Capulet and Benvolio Montague. Our city's survival depends upon it.
We consented to marrying a Capulet maiden, but not this harpy.
And I never consented at all.
You will do as you are told.
No, my lord. I will not.
So Still Starcrossed falls into a very interesting category because it is a show from Shonda Rhimes, and usually I stay far away from her shows. Why? Because most of her shows, to me, she writes exactly the same. They're for shock value, and they're for a certain type of audience, and I'm not part of it. I tried watching How to Get Away with Murder. I stopped after 2 episodes because I realized this is just not a show I'm going to like, and usually I stay far away from her shows. This show, however, is very interesting because it's actually about what happens after Romeo and Juliet, which I love Romeo and Juliet. I think it's one of the most important and interesting stories of Shakespeare's time. I'm actually a fan of Shakespeare, and I've always kind of wanted to know what happens, and this story does sound very interesting. I'm interested in getting into, what it's really all about. The fact that Romeo is black, I think, is a very interesting choice, and the fact that the main character is also black, I think, is very interesting. I'm not exactly sure. Hopefully the show isn't too preachy. I do hope it turns out quite well. It looks a little melodramatic, but as a whole, I definitely am interested in Still Starcrossed. I do hope it definitely does work out as a whole, and there's only 7 episodes, so I do hope that is a good thing. Like, it's not that they're, not like they're worried about the show or anything like that. I've seen trailers for this for a while now, but if you are interested in Still Starcrossed, it does come out Monday, May 29th at 10 o'clock on ABC. Most likely, I will be checking it out, and I do hope it does end up very well, because I am overall looking forward to it. So now we go to Tuesday, May 30th, and holy shit is there a lot coming out this day. I mean, there is so much coming out on Tuesday, May 30th. First of all, we have the return of House of Cards on Netflix, which I've tried to watch that show before. I just don't like political shows. I find them not boring, but they're just not for me. I don't understand what's going on. I don't have much of an interest in it, and it's not for me. So I think Kevin Spacey's fantastic. I think Robin Wright is great in the show. It's just not really a show that I could see myself getting invested in, and it's gone on for so long that if I really were to binge it now, there's really no foreseeable way that I could do that. I mean, there are just too many shows that I have to watch, and this is just not a show that I can see myself spending time with. I just don't see that happening. So House of Cards, I would want to watch it, but again, I just don't really have the time to do that. So House of Cards, if you guys are looking forward to it, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are looking forward to it. It does come back May 30th if you're looking forward to it. So definitely look forward to that. But the big one is actually the return of America's Got Talent, which I did watch last year. A lot of people are wondering why I don't review that show. Well, what's there to review? It's a reality show where people are eliminated every single week. And I don't really see a reason to review it. Sure, I review Big Brother, but America's Got Talent are just performances. I'm not going to review performances. There's no reason for me to do that. I don't see anything to review with that show. It's a show I watch for fun, and I did enjoy it last year. I don't really know how I feel about Tyra Banks hosting, but I can't really say anything until I watch the show, but right now I just don't really know how to feel about that. I am going to watch because I always have a lot of fun watching it. I really enjoyed last season, so I am probably going to watch, but Again, just not a show I'm going to review, as well as Fear Factor. Fear Factor is also coming back on MTV, and again, nothing to review. What's there to review? I'm obviously not going to review that show. So both of those shows I will watch. You're just not going to see reviews for them. I will log them on TV Tracker like I usually do with all the shows I watch, but I'm not going to review it because there's nothing to review. It's a reality show. I just don't really see a reason to review it. So both of those shows, not going to review those. And then the one I am interested in, though, is Animal Kingdom on TNT. I fell off the show last season, and I'm going to try to catch up. I heard it got really, really good after I fell off, so I most likely am going to catch up to Animal Kingdom, and definitely look forward to that. I don't know what's going on in the show right now, but I definitely am going to try to catch up, so look forward to that whenever that comes back. And then also there's a dance show on NBC called World of Dance that Jennifer Lopez is doing. Don't know too much about that, but it follows America's Got Talent, and I think it's going to be a good lead-in for them, so look forward to that. I sometimes like Jennifer Lopez. It could really go either way, but I'm not going to watch that, so if you are interested in World of Dance, to me, it just sounds like NBC's version of So You Think You Can Dance, but that's just my 2 cents on it, so yeah, whatever. Wednesday, May 31st, though, we do have the return of The Carmichael Show on NBC, which I've heard really good things about the show, actually, and I might want to check it out at some point, so maybe I will check that out. We'll have to see. There's also the final season of Kingdom on DirecTV. Geez, there's a lot of shows ending this year. I mean, there are just way too many shows ending, but look forward to that, I guess. And then over on Fox, you have MasterChef and The F Word with Gordon Ramsay, which I know there are definitely a lot of fans for that, as well as Big Little Star on USA. Don't really have anything to say about any of those shows, but if you guys are interested, those are all coming back then. And then Thursday, June 1st, actually is the return of Nashville on CMT, which I heard actually worked out really well for them, so if you are a fan of Nashville, it will be coming back then. On June 2nd, though, we have the return of Flaked on Netflix, which is one of the only shows I just don't really have an interest in watching. Everything about that show just seems like something that I'd stop watching after 2 episodes, and I'm not going to invest my time over a show I think I'd probably stop watching. I'm just not going to do that, so Flaked, not going to watch that one. And then there's also a 6-part Martin Scorsese documentary on Amazon called Launch Stage Trip about the history of the Grateful Dead, and I don't know anything about that, but I'm always in for something Martin Scorsese related, so I actually might watch that. We'll have to see the way that turns out. But then June 4th, we do have some big stuff coming out. While The Leftovers ends, which that is the series finale of The Leftovers, I'm going to be an absolute wreck that night because you guys know how much I love that show and how emotional it makes me. But we do have the return of Fear the Walking Dead on AMC, and I really enjoyed last season, actually. I do think the show has definitely gotten better as it's gone on. I think it's definitely gotten more interesting. The finale of last season was probably their best episode, honestly. I really did enjoy the finale last year, and they're going in some really interesting directions in Season 3, so I really do hope this season is definitely very well done. The fact that they are on in the summer, I think is a very smart choice, because when you join The Walking Dead, you have Fear the Walking Dead. I know it's not as popular of a show, but Daniel Sharman's coming on, from Teen Wolf, so that might help them out and things like that. So I definitely am going to watch Fear the Walking Dead, obviously. Definitely look forward to reviews of that. And then over on Showtime is a new show that I'm definitely looking forward to called I'm Dying Up Here.
If you want to make it in comedy, it's only one place to do that in LA, and that's Goldie's.
I feel like animals have it the best. 2 dogs meet, sniff here, sniff there. They get to have sex, and then it's right back to chasing squirrels.
They got mommy issues, they got daddy issues. I nurse these kids. They latch on and don't let go till I tell them when.
How did you get Carson?
Well, Bill, unlike you, I'm really fucking funny.
Now, this show, on the other hand, I am really looking forward to, because it's a very different kind of show than I've seen in quite a while. First of all, it does take place in the 1970s, which hasn't really proven to be a success. A lot of shows have done that, and they've really have not succeeded very well at all. But it actually is about the stand-up comedy scene in LA during the 1970s, and it's also a drama. It's not a comedy, and it's a very different take on it. Like, it really looks like, what this business really means and what it can do to these people and things like that. And it's also produced by Jim Carrey, who we know has suffered quite a lot of trauma in his life. So it definitely does seem like he's put a lot of passion into this show. My worry about the show is that it is going to be a roadie situation. If you guys know, I particularly did not like Roadies. That was a show that I stopped watching because I didn't feel like I would watch any more of it, and, not to my surprise, it was actually canceled. It was canceled, and I'm hoping that's not the case for the show. Showtime has really been struggling to find a really great new show for them, and they really have not had one in quite a while. I think ever since Penny Dreadful ended, they really have been struggling, unfortunately. And it sucks because Showtime used to have some really great shows. Shameless used to be really great. I do like Shameless still. I just think it's not as good as it used to be. Homeland used to be really good, you know, things like that. They just don't have that really great show right now. I know Billions is definitely a thing, but not enough people watch that show. And I do hope that they do find some sort of big show for them, and I'm hoping I'm Dying Up Here can be that big show, because they just don't really have one right now, and I really do hope that this does give them that audience. Now, yes, Twin Peaks could do that, but Twin Peaks is also a miniseries. It's ending after these 18 episodes, so I really do hope that I'm Dying Up Here could finally give them that audience. I think this definitely could be a really well done show. I hope it does turn out very well, because I definitely do have a lot of hope in this show, but like I said, I'm also very worried. I'm just trying to be not too optimistic about it, because I went to Rhodey's thing was going to be a really great show, and it really wasn't, and I'm hoping this isn't the case. There are a lot of things I really do want to like about the show. I hope it turns out very well, and I'm definitely looking forward to it overall, but again, I'm just not too optimistic about it based on some of their other failed attempts. But then on Monday, June 5th, we do have the return of Shadowhunters, which I have basically loved this season so far, minus that one twist I thought was extremely unnecessary. I am interested in seeing what the show is going to do with it. Now that we know that Jace and Clary are not actually siblings, we know that Michael, whatever his name is, Christopher, Michael or something like that, John Christopher, there it is, John Christopher, we know he is out there, and we are probably going to meet him this season, so I think definitely he is out there. I think Clary's going to try to track him down, and I'm glad this season isn't over, because like I said, I've really enjoyed this season, and I really do hope that they come to a very satisfying conclusion here. I think that they just got renewed for a season 3, and I definitely am looking forward to this overall, so definitely looking forward to the return of Shadowhunters, and then after that is Stitchers, which I also do want to give a watch. I actually heard turned out to be a very good show. I was going to watch that show when it premiered, but it just didn't seem like a show I'd keep up with. But I've heard it actually has gone better as it went on, so it could turn out like a Shadowhunters situation. I'm going to try to binge Stitchers. If I don't binge it, then I just won't watch it, but I'm going to try to binge it, and if I do, I will end up reviewing the season of that to you guys. So both of those premiere on June 5th if you are looking forward to them. I'm sure there are a lot of people looking forward to both of those shows. And then over on Wednesday, June 7th, we have the CMT Music Awards on CMT. I'm not a fan of country music, but a lot of people are, so if you guys like country music and you like CMT, this is on June 7th if you're looking forward to that. As well as Nightcap on Pop. I know that show I heard is really funny as well, so definitely if you're looking forward to that, June 7th. And then June 8th, Thursday, June 8th, we have the return of Queen of the South on USA. Again, another show I fell off on last summer. Look, I fell off a lot of shows last summer, okay? It wasn't intentional, it just turned out that way. But this is a show that I do definitely want to catch up on. I've heard really great things about it, and I definitely do want to try to catch up on that, because I don't really have a show on Thursday that's not Big Brother, which we'll get into that in a second. But Queen of the South does come out on Thursday, June 8th, if you guys are looking forward to that. And then Friday, June 9th, we have quite a lot, actually. We have the return of Dark Matter on Sci-Fi, as well as Wynonna Earp, which I don't have much to say about either of those, but both Dark Matter and Wynonna Earp are going to be on Sci-Fi. But the big one, of course, is the return of Orange is the New Black, and I have never been this excited for an Orange is the New Black season in quite a while. I think this is going to be a really, really dark season, especially considering the show is now considered a drama and not a comedy. They really did go into that darker territory last season, but I think it was earned. I really do think it was earned, especially the way the storyline was going, and especially after the events of last season, of course, with Poosie's death and whatnot. I think definitely now, this is definitely the time for them to go into a darker direction, and it seems that that's where they're going. I mean, there definitely is still going to be the comedy in there and things like that, but I do think this is going to be the darkest season of the show, and I think it definitely does make sense for them to do that, so I definitely looking forward to the season overall. I love last season, and I don't expect the season to be any different, so Orange is the New Black, if you guys do, if you guys are looking forward to it, it does come back June 9th. I am absolutely looking forward to the return of Orange is the New Black. I think it's going to be a really great season, and I definitely can't wait for that. And then on June 10th, we have another show that is ending. Just so many shows are ending this year, I can't believe it. But we have the final season of Orphan Black on BBC America, which, once again, I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but I fell off that show unintentionally. If you guys want to know what happened, way back in Season 3, I meant to review Episode 4 of Season 3. Somehow that just never happened. I don't know why. It just didn't. But I will be reviewing this season. I definitely do plan on catching up. I intend on it at least. I hope I do catch up because I've heard amazing things, especially about last season. I definitely do want to check the show out. So if you guys do like Orphan Black, which I know there is a huge audience for it, it does come back June 10th, and I am definitely really looking forward to the return of this show. I hope it's a very satisfying conclusion. There's a lot of things that they can wrap up, and there's a lot of things they can do with this final season, so I really do hope they take that into their advantage, and I definitely am looking forward to the return of this show. Again, I never really did mean to fall off. I just did. June 11th, there is the Tony Awards, of course, on CBS, which, of course, you guys know I will probably be doing like a 4-hour live stream on that, so look forward to that, definitely. I know you guys always do love those videos I do. And then on ABC, we have all the game shows coming out. Celebrity Family Feud. Something called Steve Harvey's Thunderdome. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but Steve Harvey was canceled on NBC, so I guess this is like his new show. And then 100,000 Pyramid on ABC at 10 o'clock. And then on Fox, we have American Grits over on at 9 o'clock. I know that show turned out to be a lot better than everyone thought it was going to be. I don't really have much to say about that. And then over on TNT, we have a new show called Claws.
I got us a plan. My money laundering days are over. Hey!
You work for me.
I'm trying to get out of this mess, not further in. I want my money.
They gon' pay. They gon' pay dearly.
Y'all got some real idiots up in here. Baby, it's what we do. Biggest ex.
So, when I first heard about the show, guys, I read the plot, and I'm like, this is just not something that I'm going to like, and the trailer was basically exactly what I expected it to be. It definitely does look like the show has an audience, but it's just not me. It's really not me. This seems like a really weird show to put onto TNT. I know they're trying to expand their content and things like that, but this just seems like such a weird choice. A show about a nail salon and things like that. Again, Niecy Nash, I'm a fan of her. I think she's very funny on Scream Queens. I didn't like her at first, but I really did grow to like her in Season 2. I think she definitely was very funny. But this show in general, again, I just can't see myself watching. Again, maybe if it gets good reception and things like that, then maybe I will check it out. But right now, it just doesn't really seem like something I'd really be into. I'm sure, again, the show does have an audience, and this show could end up very well. It's just not something that I really could see myself spending a lot of time on. So, Claws, I don't really have a lot to say about the show. If you guys are looking forward to it, it does come out on Sunday, June 11th. But again, I just don't really see myself investing that much time into it. So then on Monday, June 12th, we have the return of American Ninja Warrior on NBC, as well as the return of Spartan Ultimate Team Challenge. I know both those shows are very popular. And then on Fox, we have the return of So You Think You Can Dance, and a new show called Superhuman. I don't know if that has anything to do with Stanley's Superhuman, but sounds like something I'm interested in, so we'll have to see. And then there's a mini-series on Showtime called The Putin Interviews, which is actually, it's directed by Oliver Stone, who we know is always known for directing films that have to do with controversial topics and things like that. And it's literally about Vladimir Putin, who obviously he is a very hot topic right now in, the press and things like that. So I actually might check this out. Showtime does a very good job with these sort of documentaries, so I definitely do want to check this out. So The Putin Interviews, if you're interested in that, does come out Monday, June 12th, along with all the other things I just talked about. And then Tuesday, June 13th, we have the return of Face Off on Sci-Fi. And then on Wednesday, June 14th, we have a new show on Sci-Fi called Blood Drive.
In the distant future of 1999, a global fuel shortage has ravaged civilization.
Nice ride.
But instead of going green,
Have you seen the engine?
we went red.
The fuck? These cars run on human blood?
Have you seen gas prices lately?
This show, oh my god, I mean, I can't believe this is an actual thing. I went into this trailer not really knowing what to get out of it, and holy shit, I mean, this show in general just looks insane. The plot of this show is crazy, that all these cars in 1999, instead of going green, they actually run on human blood, and they literally feed human flesh to the cars. Now, we've seen this idea done before, but not quite in the way it's done here, and it looks like the show is very self-aware. It very much knows what it actually is. It is from the Grindhouse series, and I actually am very interested, honestly, just because the show is actually a thing. I can't believe that this is actually going to be a real show. I thought it was a joke when I first heard about it, but no, it actually is a legit thing on Sci-Fi, who is really trying to rebrand their content. They've talked about this before. They're trying to turn it into a more legit channel, and this, I don't know if this is the show to do it, but it really does look like it's a very fun show, so I definitely do want to check this out. The cast looks like they're just going to be... They're so divided. You got like a cannibal, you got like some like nymphomaniac shit going on, all kinds of stuff like that. So I definitely am looking forward to the show overall, just for all of those reasons in general. I have no idea what the hell we're gonna get out of this, but in general, I definitely am interested, to say the least. I just don't really know what exactly the hell this is gonna be. But Blood Drive, if you are interested, which I surprisingly am on board, I didn't think I was going to be, but it does come out Wednesday, June 14th. If you guys are interested, definitely check it out, but proceed with caution, because I really have no idea what the show entails. It looks like it's going to be very graphic, and I think that's exactly what we want it to be, so I definitely am going to check this out overall. I just don't really know what it's really going to be. We'll have to see, honestly. So, Friday, June 16th, we then have the return of The Ranch on Netflix, which is a show that really nobody talks about. I checked it out. It's really boring, and it's not funny, so I don't really have much to say about it other than that. Saturday, June 17th, we now have another show ending. Holy shit. Turn Washington Spies on AMC is ending. I watched the first season. I didn't review the others, but it's a show on AMC. No one really talks about it, so if you guys are looking forward to it, June 17th, just don't have much to say about it. And then June 18th, there's really nothing. I thought there was going to be something, but there's really not anything. June 20th, however, there is something I want to talk about, that being the return of Queen Sugar, another show I fell off on that I do want to try to get back on board with, especially Queen Sugar. I know Greenleaf was a thing, but I heard Queen Sugar was definitely the better of the two, so I definitely do want to check it out. I've heard really, really great things about, surprisingly, and I did watch the first 2 episodes. I meant to watch the rest. I don't really know what happened. I think there were other things on that I wanted to watch, so Queen Sugar in general, I definitely am looking forward to the show. I definitely do want to check it out, and yeah, so I definitely am going to watch this season of Queen Sugar. I'm hopefully going to be able to catch up. So Tuesday, June 20th, if you are looking forward to it, it does come out at 10 o'clock, but it's going to be normally on Wednesdays at 10, so look forward to that. And then Wrecked on TBS at 10. I heard nothing about the show, but I know it came out last year, and I guess it did really well because it got a second season, so look forward to that on June 20th. And then June 22nd, we have a bunch of game shows on ABC. We got Boy Band, which is a reality competition show, and also The Gong Show on ABC. Probably the most unique of the bunch, not just because it's a return of The Gong Show, but also because this season of The Gong Show, you got a character, Mike Myers is actually hosting, which, I mean, I haven't seen Mike Myers since, like, Shrek. I can't believe he's actually back. But he's not playing himself. He's playing this, like, other character that's, like, French or something like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to The Gong Show overall. I think it actually could be a lot of fun. It seems like a game show that I actually do really want to watch, so I am looking forward to that. Also on NBC, you got Hollywood Game Night, The Wall, and The Night Shift. All shows that are very popular. I just don't really watch any of them. The one to talk about, though, is actually on Spike, and that is the TV adaptation of The Mist.
I woke up in the mountains and couldn't even remember my name.
Lock the doors!
What was it? What'd you see?
We can't stay here. We gotta go now.
I believe this is Judgment Day.
Your God's not here.
Arrowhead, Arrowhead, do you copy?
I felt something. What do you feel?
That it knew me.
So I really didn't know what to expect from this trailer, just because of the network and things like that, but this actually does look really well done. Like, it looks like they really do understand the idea of the Mist, that it really does change you, and what it can do to you emotionally and physically, and it actually does look kind of scary. Like, there definitely are a few moments that definitely look quite chilling. The weird part of this is, why is it on Spike, of all things? I don't really know. Maybe because Spike just wants to get more of a following, because they're mainly just known for, like, sports things and game-related shows. I don't really associate Spike with original content, but maybe this will get them a following. I think Sci-Fi or something like that just would have been a better choice. FX even, I think FX especially would have done a bang-up job on this show. I still think this does look really good, and you got a good cast here. You know, Frances Conroy is here. No one else really recognizable, but she definitely does look really great, and the actors in general definitely do look really good. So I definitely am going to check this out. I think it's the most interesting thing on the list, definitely. I don't really know, again, why it's on at, why it's on Spike. I believe it's going to be on at 10 o'clock on Spike. I just don't know why it's on that network specifically. There was a 2007 film that I know a lot of people really do love, and I just don't really know why it's on here. But if you are looking forward to The Mist regardless, it is coming out June 22nd on Spike. Again, I just don't really know why it's on that network of all choices. So then Friday, June 23rd, we don't have a lot coming out. There's the return of Playing House on USA, which I know is a really big show, as well as a few things on PBS, but the big one is another new Netflix show. Holy shit, is there a lot of them, called Glow. So not much is really known about the show except for what the premise is, and the premise of the show I think is honestly really unique. You have this struggling actress who, she turns to Glow, which is like this wrestling industry for women for one last chance of success, and Alison Brie is playing the main lead, who I've always been a fan of. I think she's very funny, also very attractive as well, but she's also very funny, and I think she could really do a great job with this show. So I am looking forward to Glow overall. I just don't really have a lot to say about it. And I am definitely looking forward to it. It does come out June 23rd if you guys are looking forward to that. But then on June 25th, we have two really big returns. The premiere of Power over on Starz at 9 o'clock. And then at 10 o'clock on AMC, we have the return of Preacher, which I am definitely very interested in seeing where Preacher is really going to go. Mainly because the fact that last season, they basically killed off all the main characters except for our main three. Of course, that being, Jesse, Tulip, and Cassie. And it makes sense why they killed off those characters, because they're not around in the comic. Now, they're not all gone. Arseface is still going to be a part of the show, as well as the Saint of Killers, but as far as everyone else, they're kind of done. There's not really, Emily's gone, Sheriff Root's dead, all of those characters are pretty much dead, so it's really only going to be, there's going to be new characters, obviously. I just don't really know where the show is going to go now that they basically killed everyone off. I think it's going to be a very interesting situation for the show. It was a bold move, definitely, and a very ballsy move as well. But I am definitely looking forward to this show. I think it's going to be very interesting overall. So, Preacher, I definitely am interested in seeing how this is really going to turn out. They haven't shown a lot, but I definitely am interested. So, Preacher, if you guys are looking forward to that, as well as Power, it does come back Sunday, June 25th. Preacher is going to move to 9 o'clock on Mondays, usually on June 26th. So, we'll have to see really how that turns out. Then on Wednesday, June 28th, we have the return of Big Brother on CBS, which, yeah, I know I was quite hard on this show. I tried to watch Big Brother Over the Top, just didn't happen because I just don't think that show should be on in the fall, and there were just too many things on, really, and I just got sidetracked by other shows. But this season of Big Brother, I think, could definitely be better, as long as it's not like an alumni-type season. I think that's really the problem they have, is that they try to bring back all of these vets, and they want us to root for the vets, when in reality, I wasn't really rooting for the vets most of the time. So, Big Brother, I definitely am looking forward to, but again, I'm proceed with caution with that. Of course, it'll also be on Thursdays and Sundays. As usual, I will be reviewing the week's worth of Big Brother. I'll obviously review the premiere, but the rest I'll just review the week of, so look forward to that, definitely. Then we also have the return of Younger on TV Land, which, again, another show I fell off of, but I actually was really enjoying what I was seeing of it, so I'm hoping to catch up on that. We'll have to see whenever that does happen. Thursday, June 29th, we have the return of Battle of the Network Stars on ABC, which used to be this very popular special in the 70s and 80s where they would take, like, classic celebrities and kind of put them in these like athletic competitions. So I think it's a cool idea. They haven't really announced who's going to do it, but I'm interested in the show. We'll have to see really how that turns out. As well as the return of Zoo on CBS again. Don't have a lot to say about that show, but it's on, and it's still, I guess, has a following. Just I don't know many people that really watch it. And then Friday, June 30th, we have the return of Masters of Illusion on CW, as well as the return of Killjoys on Sci-Fi. And then we have another new show on Netflix called Gypsy.
I will always provide a safe and trusting haven for my patients. I will remain objective in my relationships. I will not violate the physical boundaries of the patient. And will always do no harm.
So, Gypsy is a show that I've been looking forward to for a while now. When I first heard of Gypsy, because I am the theater nerd that I can be, immediately I thought of Gypsy the musical. That's what I immediately thought of, because you guys know I am a huge fan of that movie. This has nothing to do with that, obviously. It is this psychological thriller about this therapist who basically starts to develop relationships with her partners, basically partners, and obviously that's not a very good thing. It looks really well done. Naomi Watts looks really creepy in this role, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this. This is definitely a very different type of role for her. The trailer didn't show a lot, but I'm happy it didn't, because the less the better. So I definitely am looking forward to the show anymore a lot. I think it could definitely be really well done. So if you are looking forward to Gypsy, it does come out Friday, June 30th on Netflix, and hopefully I will definitely check that one out. So then on Wednesday, July 5th, we have what is arguably my most anticipated new show out of all the shows coming out, and that being the new show Snowfall.
I try to do it the right way. Know what I learned? The game's rigged. So I'm rewriting the rules. I love you, Franklin. Love you too, Mom.
So, Snowfall is a show that I am definitely hyped for a long time now. It is, in fact, FX, which usually always means it strikes gold, and especially a show like this, it definitely seems like something FX should dab their creative juices in, and also it's by John Singleton, who, especially a topic like this, really does know what to do. Basically, the show, it's about the rise of cocaine, and that in general just very much does intrigue me, knowing who these characters were, why they would invent something like this in 1983. I think it's a very risky show, but I think it definitely is the right time for a show like this to come out, so I definitely am really looking forward to Snowfall. Like I said, it's probably most anticipated out of all the new shows coming out. I'm looking forward to the show for a long time now, and I really hope it does pay off. So if you guys are looking forward to Snowfall, it does come out Wednesday, July 5th, and definitely look forward to that. So Sunday, July 9th, we have probably the most peculiar out of all the shows on this list. Like I said, there are a lot of game shows this year. The weirdest one being Candy Crush. Yeah, this is a game show now. I don't know how they're going to make this into a game show, but for some reason it's a game show now. And not only that, Mario Lopez is hosting, so it's like legit. Like, this is not I'm not playing around here. This is like, I'm dead ass. This is a real show. I don't know why, but this is an actual show that's coming on to CBS, Candy Crush. I don't know why this is a thing, but if you guys are looking forward to it, it is going to be on Sundays at 9 on CBS. I don't know why, but it is. And then on HBO, there's going to be a documentary called The Defiant Ones about the musical careers of Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, so if you guys are looking forward to that, it is going to be on Sunday, July 9th, and the remaining episodes will air through Wednesday at 9 o'clock. So then, Monday, July 10th, we have another new show on TNT, and that is Will.
I will write the greatest plays this world has ever seen. Stinking, vile pig swallow!
Are you a poet? You're in London to make your fortune.
Yeah, we've been around for a minute.
The theatre goes deaf to morality.
And now you wanna get with it?
Who are you?
No one.
Seems as no one desires to be someone.
Damn right. I have a play. I'm an actor. William Shakespeare.
Never heard of it.
So once again, just like still Starcrossed, I am definitely very interested in this show, but it definitely is kind of risky because yes, it is about William Shakespeare, but it looks like it's a very modern take on it. Like, it takes place in the 16th century, but they're playing like rap music throughout the trailer, and that's not a good sign. That's one of the things that killed The Great Gatsby. I'm not a fan of that. Well, I mean, I like it. I don't think it's a terrible movie. I think it's an okay film, but I think that one of the things that is a real detriment to that film is the whole modern music throughout it. I just didn't really understand it. And here, I don't really understand it either. Maybe it's going to make more sense in the show, but just in the trailer, I don't really know if this is going to make a ton of sense. I think it looks interesting, and I am definitely going to check it out. I just don't really know how to feel about it right now. But if you guys are interested in Will, it is going to be on Monday, July 10th on TNT at 9 o'clock. Just don't really know how to feel about this one. But now we go to Tuesday, July 11th, where we have the return of the Fosters on Freeform, which I might catch up to that show. I don't know if I will, but I did hear it's gotten very interesting. It's gotten really dark, and it's dabbled into some very risky topics, so I am definitely interested in possibly getting back into it. We'll have to see. I don't really know. But after The Fosters is a new show on Freeform called The Bold Type.
I expect you to unleash holy hell on anyone who tries to hold you back.
I'm a feminist, and so is this magazine.
It's about clothes and makeup.
That's actually a common misconception.
In the club with my bad bitches.
Any problems with the JJ?
Yeah, it's not 2006. Oh, wait, is that him? Oh my God, it's him.
I got myself drunk enough to express my emotions.
Are you sure you want to do that right now?
Yes. Gosh, worst pep talk ever.
Look, it's no secret that Freeform has really not been impressing me lately. Mine is Shadowhunters. I just really have not been that into Freeform. Famous in Love was really mediocre, and I know that show has gained a bit of an audience, but just for me, I'm not into it. Pretty Little Liars has just lost me at this point. I'm gonna watch it till the end, but I just don't have much of a motivation to review it. This show, on the other hand, I do think is going to be a really big hit amongst many teens. However, I don't feel like I'm going to be one of them. This show in general just doesn't really interest me. The whole fashion industry and things like that is not something that I am personally interested in. I like the actresses, definitely. I think the main actress, the main chick is from Faking It, which I heard she was really good on that. Aisha D from Sweet Vicious, I really did love her character as Kenny. Very upset that show did get canceled. I think that was a very important show, and it didn't unfortunately have enough of an audience. I hope that they do find like another way to bring that show back at some point, but I don't think that's going to be possible. Right now, I just don't know how the show is really going to be. I know it is based on I believe, life of Cosmopolitan editor, which I think is interesting. But just in general, I don't really know how this show's going to be. I don't really have too much to say about it. I know it's about, a women's magazine and things like that. I just don't really know if I'm really going to like this show. Again, if I hear good things, maybe I will check it out, but I don't really have much to say about it. Just doesn't really like something that's going to interest me. But if you guys are looking forward to The Bold Type, it is going to be a 2-hour premiere actually on July 11th if you guys are looking forward to that. I feel like Hulu's going to do a similar thing where they're just going to release all the episodes and put them on Hulu like they have with Beyond and Famous in Love. That tactic has worked for them with both of those shows, so I feel like this one should be no different. And especially in the summer, I think it's the right choice. So if you guys are looking forward to The Bold Type, it does come out Tuesday, July 11th. I just don't really know how to feel about this one right now. But then on Wednesday, July 12th, we have two things that I am going to talk about. The first one being the return of Suits on USA, which my parents love, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. But the big one is a new show on CBS called Salvation.
Asteroid, Earth, boom.
I'm sorry. I can't make the world safe for you.
I'm onto something that someone somewhere doesn't want public. I'm telling you, the sky is falling.
Now, ever since Under the Dome, CBS has really been trying to find, I think, a really great sci-fi show for them. They had Brain Dead last year, which I personally really enjoyed, but for some reason was canceled. I know it was only supposed to be a miniseries. They also had American, what was that show called? American Gothic, I think. I watched like one episode, and I just didn't really see much in that show. And now we have Salvation, and I think the plot for the show is very interesting. This being this asteroid that's going to potentially hit Earth and is going to cause the end of the world. This premise is definitely very interesting. My worry is that it is in fact CBS. I'm not usually a fan of their kind of shows, but this show may surprise me. Maybe I will get on board with this. Maybe it will be a little bit different than what I think it's going to be. I just don't know with this show. I am going to check it out, definitely. I am interested in seeing how the show does in fact turn out. I just don't really know what it's going to be, so I can't really say too much about Salvation. The trailer didn't really do much for me. All the actors and actresses seem very basic, and it just doesn't look that well put together, but we'll have to see really how this turns out. So Salvation, again, to me it seems like a very disposable show, but I could be very wrong. Maybe it's just a bad trailer, but I didn't think the trailer was bad. It just didn't really do much to hook me in, and I pretty much felt the same way I did before I came into it. So, Salvation, I don't really have much to say about, but it does come out Wednesday, July 12th. If you guys are looking forward to it, I just don't really know how the show is really going to be. So then we go to Sunday, July 16th, which is arguably the biggest day for the summer because it is the return of Game of Thrones on HBO, which, no secret here, is my most anticipated show of the summer in general. I think it probably is everyone's, especially after coming off a season like Season 6, such a tumultuous, just eventful season of so many great character moments and so many great moments for the show in general. Some of the top moments, I mean, especially the Battle of Bastards, I think is probably one of the top episodes of the show. And then the finale, I mean, that was just incredible. There are so many directions the show can go in Season 7, and again, we don't know where the hell it's going because of the fact that, you know, George R.R. Martin hasn't wrote that last book yet. I think the show has really been benefiting from that because it's a lot more surprising, and the storytelling in general is just very different, and I can't wait to see where the show is going to go, especially with 7 episodes. They really do have a great advantage with that, so the fact that we only have 11 episodes left of the show is very sad, but I do hope the show does deliver in these last 2 seasons, so I'm definitely looking forward to Game of Thrones. Obviously, it's my most anticipated premiere out of all of the shows coming out, and my most anticipated return, obviously, so Game of Thrones, obviously hyped, and definitely you can look forward to reviews of that. Obviously not going to be happy that The Leftovers is over, but at least it's being replaced by something as awesome as Game of Thrones, so definitely looking forward to that. And then we also have the final season of The Strain, which I don't really care about, but it does come on FX if you guys want to watch that. I know it has an audience, but again, I'm not part of that audience. Tuesday, July 18th, we have the return of Shooter on USA. Might get round to that if I catch up on that, but we'll have to see really how that turns out. And then Friday, July 21st, oh my god, we have a movie that I have just been doing everything in my power to try to avoid, but it is the highly anticipated Descendants 2, which will be simulcasted on Disney XD, Freeform, ABC, and Lifetime, and look, you guys know I was not a fan of Descendants at all. I think it is one of the most overrated Disney Channel films. The songs are pretty terrible. The message is contrived. The acting really isn't that great. It's very childish, and in general, it's just such a waste of a concept. Maybe the sequel will be better. I'm going with the expectation that the sequel will be better because hopefully they did fix a lot of the errors that the first one had, but because of how big the first one really was, I doubt they're really going to change it much for the sequel, so I don't really know. We'll have to see how the sequel really is. I just don't really have much anticipation for it. The fact it's on so many fucking networks is ridiculous. I don't know why it's on Lifetime. That has nothing to do with Disney, but that just makes me laugh because it honestly does deserve to fall into that category. So Descendants 2 hopefully is better than the first one, but I don't have much motivation. However, I am at the same time looking forward to it because Raven's Home will actually be premiering right after that, and I am obviously so hyped for the return of Raven's Home. I watched That's So Raven all the time when I was a little kid. I grew up with that show, and I'm very happy to see that they have gotten a you know, sort of like Girl Meets World-esque sequel. I think it's exactly what the network needs right now, especially after canceling Girl Meets World. Obviously, I'm upset about that, but, you know, all shows eventually have to end, and I feel like, you know, that show was kind of running out of ideas. There were definitely things that Michael Jacobs wanted to do, but the show in general was kind of getting kind of stale, so I can understand why they did decide to end it. Hopefully, Raven's Home will fill that void. I heard Andy Mack's been great as well, so between these two shows, I hope they definitely do fill the void of that nicely, so I definitely really looking forward to Raven's Home. I think it's going to be an incredible show. Hopefully, we don't really have any footage for it, but from what I'm hearing, it definitely sounds like it's going to be really great. I'm glad that it's that it's her son that has a psychic ability and not the daughter. I think it's going to be an interesting twist by doing that. So, July 21st, Raven's Home. Definitely looking forward to that. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I am looking forward to seeing how that turns out. But then over on HBO on Sunday, July 22nd, following Game of Thrones, we have both Ballers, which I have never really been into, but that is on at 10 o'clock. And then right after that is Insecure, which is actually going to be a summer show, which is a very interesting choice. But I love the first season of Insecure. I think it was a very well done show. Izzy Ray especially is a phenomenal talent, and I really like what we got out of her. So I definitely looking forward to the second season of Insecure. I hope it surpasses the first one because I love the first one, but I think the second one can be even better. So I really do hope they utilize all the tools to bring that show back. So I'm definitely looking forward to Insecure. And then Monday, July 24th, we have two new shows. The first one on NBC being Midnight Texas.
Family, no friends. He's running from something.
Then he'll fit in just fine.
What's so special about this place?
Midnight has been a haven for centuries. People like us make this home.
What are you exactly?
Vampire is one word for it.
Usually I'm the freak in the room.
You meet your neighbors yet? Joe, he watches over everyone. The Rev, I still haven't figured him out. I know Fiji's more than just a cat lady. And then there's Olivia. She's got more secrets than anyone. You fit in pretty well here, Mr. Psychic. Do you want to give me a reading?
You'll meet your soulmate, someone who sees how special you really are.
So I really didn't know too much about the show going into it, but after watching the trailer, holy shit am I excited. I mean, this show, it is strange it's on NBC, but it really does look like the next great supernatural show. I know Grimm just ended for them, so this really is coming off the heels of that show, which I know was very popular amongst many people, so I definitely am looking forward to the show overall. You got all kinds of characters here. You got like a witch, you got a vampire, you got a hit woman. I mean, all kinds of different characters. It reminds me a bit of the originals where you have this town for everyone that's different and all these different kinds of outsiders. So I'm definitely looking forward to this overall. I know it's from the same author who did True Blood, and I saw one season of True Blood, so my thoughts on that show are very, very different than what you might think, and they really, my opinion, in general, is kind of just very out there just because of how how not educated I was with that show. So I'm really not the most reliable when it comes to that show, but the show in general I definitely am looking forward to. I think it looks like a lot of fun, and I definitely do want to check out Midnight Texas as a whole. So Monday, July 24th, if you are looking forward to Midnight Texas, it does come out on NBC at 10 o'clock, and then we have another show on ABC, that being Somewhere Between. Now, there isn't a trailer for this show, unfortunately, but from the premise, it sounds like something I've seen a million times before. You got this news report, learns that her 8-year-old daughter is going to be murdered, and I don't really know about this show. Again, I haven't seen a trailer for anything, so I can't really say too much, but it does come out July 24th if you are looking forward to it, so I guess look forward to it. But then Friday, July 28th, we have a new anthology series on HBO called Room 104, which is a very different kind of show where you have this single motel room and a different story is going to take place each week inside that same motel room, which is a very interesting concept. Sounds like something I really could get invested in, so I definitely do want to check that out. I'm not one usually for anthology series, but this sounds something I could be on board with, so I definitely am definitely looking forward to this show. And now we have the last few here, which there actually is a lot coming out in August, but August 2nd we have what could potentially be one of the biggest shows coming out in the summer, and that being The Sinner.
Then why kill him?
That's an impulse killing. It's emotional.
Whatever you have to do now, I won't blame you.
You know how the mind plays tricks. You see things that aren't there.
What are you remembering?
It looked like he recognized her.
She attacks him in public.
So you think she's lying?
This doesn't make any sense.
So, I'm not one that's usually a fan of Jessica Biel, but damn, she really did impress me in this trailer, and the show in general definitely seems very interesting. Basically, this woman commits this very deadly act of violence, and the team try to come together to try to figure out why exactly she did it, and I think it's definitely a very interesting premise. I definitely am looking forward to the show overall. I think the attitude for USA has definitely changed ever since Mr. Robot, and Mr. Robot, of course, is going to be on in the fall, so hopefully this does fill the void of that until then. Other than that, I definitely am very excited for the show. I think it definitely looks really good, and The Sinner, I definitely am looking forward to. So if you guys are looking forward to The Sinner, it is coming out Wednesday, August 7th at 10 o'clock, and I definitely am looking forward to the show overall. But then on Sunday, August 6th, we have the return of Ray Donovan on Showtime, which, again, just like House of Cards, there are just way too many seasons for me to realistically binge that show. Just not going to happen, unfortunately, which sucks because Susan Sarandon is actually joining the cast, and then Twin Peaks is actually going to move to 8 o'clock after Ray Donovan, which is interesting, but yeah, that's what's going to happen, because Twin Peaks will be on for a while, because there's 18 episodes. So, Tuesday, August 8th, though, we have Difficult People on Hulu, which I heard is a really great show, so maybe I'll check that one out at some point. We also have, after that, we have on August 10th, we have the weekend updates of Saturday Night Live, which is literally just the weekend update, which is only going to be 4 episodes, but it's just going to be a weekend update type of show, so that's really interesting that they're doing that. August 16th, we have a show on NBC that I really wish was not premiering, but it is. It's Marlon Wayans' new show called Marlon. Look, Marlon Wayans is a funny guy, but recently he really has not been impressing me, and I feel it's best if he kind of just leaves himself away from stuff like this, just because in general it does not look that great. It looks a hell of a lot better than Naked, the movie that's coming out on Netflix, which is one of my least anticipated films of the entire year. I have so much to say about that, but if you want to see my views on that film, check out 22 Tiger Dudes, least anticipated video, because I do talk about that and indulge more in my hatred for that in that video. Marlon, on the other hand, could be good. Again, Marlon Wayans I'm not really a fan of right now. Then Friday, August 18th, we have what is arguably one of the most anticipated new shows out of all the shows coming out this summer. That, of course, being for The Defenders.
You four. The devil of Hell's Kitchen. The smart-ass detective.
We got a problem?
Yes, you are. The righteous ex-con. Yes, you were.
My bad.
And the kid with a glowing fist.
Yes, I want you to be.
The war for New York is here.
Yes, I know enemy.
So get your shit together.
Now, obviously, I am absolutely hyped for The Defenders. Even though I was not a huge fan of Iron Fist, for the most part, I have loved what Marvel has given us on Netflix. I think Daredevil's been fantastic. Jessica Jones, I am one of the few people who love that show. I know a lot of people think that it was very messy, but I loved it for its flaws and all. I think it was an incredibly well done show. Luke Cage definitely did get it was a little bit too long. I think it could have easily been 10 episodes. And then Iron Fist, I just haven't really been a fan of. But it looks like they're utilizing him well here. Like, he's more the comedic relief and kind of just like the guy that no one really wants, while Daredevil is Jessica Jones' lawyer. Jessica Jones is the person who's going to look in your face and tell you exactly what she thinks, and then Luke Cage kind of wants to be left out of it, like he's kind of on the run, obviously, because he's in prison and things like that. So I definitely am hyped for The Defenders. They only have 8 episodes, which people have complained for a long time that Marvel Netflix series just have too many episodes, and I think that only really applied to Luke Cage and Iron Fist to an extent as well. But Iron Fist's problem is not really the episodes, it's just the amount of story is not really that interesting, unfortunately. The Defenders definitely looks like it's going to make up for that. I am definitely looking forward to the show. It's coming out on my birthday as well, which is just an awesome birthday present to me. Hopefully that's a good thing and not a bad thing, but I am absolutely hyped for The Defenders. I really hope it does not let me down, because it really does look fantastic, and I'd be very upset if it's not as good as I think it's going to be. So I am absolutely hyped for it, and I definitely am looking forward to when it comes out on August 18th. So then August 20th, we do have a new season of Endeavor on PBS, which I know a lot of people are a huge fan of. And then I believe the final season of episodes, again, so many shows ending, but that is on Showtime. I believe it is the final season for that. Then on Friday, August 25th, which is the last few shows we're going to talk about, we do have a new show on Netflix called Disjointed, which is with Kathy Bates. She's running this, like, cannabis dispensary. And then finally, guys, the last show we're going to talk about here is the Amazon adaptation of The Tick. Now, like I said, I Love Dick does not really look like a show that's going to do Amazon that well. This show, however, does. I am actually really looking forward to The Tick. I heard really great things about the first episode. Definitely do want to check that out at some points, but there's a lot of things I think really do help with this show. One is the fact that The Tick is a very popular show that was on, I believe, I want to say the 90s. It was kind of ahead of its time. It was one of those, like, satire type superhero shows, which really wasn't a thing then, but obviously is a really big thing now, so I think that's really going to benefit them. So I think, like I said, I think that's really going to benefit them as a whole. But the new Tick, however, I don't really know too much about the show. I heard it's a little bit darker than the other one, but I've heard really great things about it, and in general, I am definitely very intrigued. I am a lot more interested in this show than I ever will be in I Love Dick. That show just looks like it's not something that Amazon really should be doing, but The Tick in general, I'm definitely looking forward to the show. I think it's a great way, hopefully, to end the summer, and I'm definitely looking forward to it on Friday, August 25th. You betcha I will definitely be there. And with that, guys, that's it. Yes, I know this video was a little bit shorter than I anticipated, but I'm fine with that because as much as I do like doing these videos, I don't really have a lot of fun editing them, especially if they're 2 hours long. Just not my cup of tea, personally. Not really a fun thing to do. Maybe a fun thing for you guys, but for me personally, it's not exactly a fun thing. It takes up a lot of time. But either way, I just want to talk about all the shows I'm going to be reviewing moving forward. So here is my actual schedule for this summer, and I will be posting this in the description down below as always. But basically, here's how it's going to go. On Sunday, I will be reviewing Big Brother 19, Game of Thrones, Fear the Walking Dead, and Twin Peaks. Those are all the shows I will be reviewing every episode of. And then I will review the season of I'm Dying Up Here and Insecure. You can definitely look forward to both of those. On Mondays, I will be reviewing every episode of Shadowhunters, Preacher, Teen Wolf, Teen Wolf is coming on sometime this summer. There's no date for it yet, but they did say it will be on this summer. I don't know if Unreal is going to be on this summer, but if that is on, I most likely will be reviewing it. I know they just wrapped up shooting, so I don't know if that's going to be now or in the fall. I'm assuming the fall, because there's no date for it yet, so probably the fall is one that's going to come back. And then still Starcrossed as well. I plan on reviewing every episode of that, as well as Midnight Texas, and then I'll review the season of Stitchers, so look forward to that. Tuesday, I plan on reviewing possibly The Fosters. If I do catch up to that, we'll have to see. I won't be reviewing, but I will be watching America's Got Talent, every episode of Animal Kingdom, every episode possibly of Shooter, and then the Bold Type I might review if I like it. Again, I might just check it out because it's freeform, why not? Fear Factor I'll be watching but not reviewing, and then Casual I will review the season of. Wednesday I will be reviewing every episode of Big Brother 19, Salvation, and Snowfall and Queen Sugar, and The Sinner, and then I'll review the season of Younger. Thursday, every episode of Big Brother 19, The Mist, and Queen of the South. Definitely look forward to that. Friday, I will be reviewing the season of Andy Mack, Raven's Home, and Playing House. And of course, all the shows I'm also reviewing now, like for example, the originals and iZombie and things like that. I will still be reviewing those, so look forward to that. I know I'm behind on all those, but I plan on catching up on those once the other shows end. So Saturday, I will be reviewing Orphan Black and Doctor Who. Look forward to both of those. And then finally on Netflix, I will be reviewing every episode of Bloodline, Sense8, and The Defenders, and then I'll review the season of and Disjointed. I might watch I Love Dick. I don't really know if I'm going to watch it, but we'll see. Orange is the New Black, The Tick, and Unbreakable, Kimmy Schmidt. And with that, guys, those are all the shows that I will be watching this summer. If there's anything I left out or anything that you guys are interested in, comment down below on what you guys plan on watching this summer. Definitely would love to hear your thoughts on that. But that's my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys sticked around for this long, congratulations. You made it through a very long video. But that's my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for the season premiere of Sense8, which is basically the reason I made this video, so I could review that show, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.